evening and welcome to the Newshour Agenda. I'm Madhavdas G. Now, in the run-up to the upcoming Lok Sabha polls, Prime Minister Modi has launched a scathing attack at the enemies of India. He vowed that India's national security will hold paramount importance and will not be compromised at any cost. In the last 24 hours, the Prime Minister spoke twice about the valor of our forces during Balakot airstrikes and reiterated, "ये नया भारत है, ये आतंकवाद के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करता है और ये घर में घुस के मारता है." This comes in the backdrop of a British newspaper, The Guardian's report that India carried out 20 assassinations in Pakistan as a part of a wider strategy to eliminate terrorists living on foreign soil. Listen in first to what the Prime Minister said.
आज दुश्मन को भी पता है ये मोदी है, ये नया भारत है, ये नया भारत घर में घुसकर मारता है। आज जो आटे के लिए तरस रहे हैं उनके आतंकी हम पर हमला करके चले जाते थे और तब की कांग्रेस दूसरे देशों के पास शिकायत लेकर जाती थी। जब तक इंडी अलायंस के लोग सत्ता में रहे, इन्होंने हमारे जवानों के हाथ बांध कर रखे। दुश्मन हमला करके चला जाता था, ये जवानों को जवाब देने की इजाजत नहीं देते थे।
Citing sources from Pakistani intelligence establishment, The Guardian has added that these killings were reportedly part of India's larger strategy to eliminate terrorists living on foreign soil. As per this report, the ones killed allegedly on orders of Indian government are Khalistani terrorists operating from abroad. The MEA has rejected allegations made by Guardian in this report, but the government's stand on terrorism is clear. It's zero tolerance. Though the MEA has made its stand clear, the politics on this issue refuses to die down. Congress leaders have claimed that such statements just give BJP political mileage amidst the polls. A Congress MLA from Karnataka even went a step further and said that Pulwama-like attacks were orchestrated by the BJP. Listen in to the war of words.
Something was coming on social media. Now they have put it on Guardian, a paper which actually lost its credibility long time back. So I don't give any credence to what is being published or what Pakistan is saying. So why create fables and false narratives? This is a pure narrative created by Pakistan.
It's a surmise only, and Pakistan manufactures terrorists, so they don't need any outside forces to ambush the people, kill the people. And in fact, Pakistan is struggling to fight out its own terrorism. So they need not to be imported.
मुझे उस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं करनी है, लेकिन एक बात मैं देख रहा हूँ कि आतंक के अखाड़े में आटे की आफत है। जो उन्होंने आतंक के अखाड़े में अगर आटे की आफत हो और इस तरह के वो बेहुदा बातें करेंगे तो अपने को संभाल नहीं पा रहे हैं पूरे देश में। आप दुनिया में जो है वो आप कटोरा लेके घूम रहे हैं।
For more on this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us is Tom Vadakan of the BJP. Shashank Sareen, Senior Fellow at ORF, is with us. Ishkaran Bhandari, Advocate of Supreme Court, also joins us on the broadcast. Sanjay Jha, author, is with us. Also with us is Dr. Dinesh Vashne of the CPI. Mohammad Tariq Khan of the Samajwadi Party is also with us. Let me start with you, Sanjay Jha, first and foremost. Now, we have seen what happened following the surgical strikes. It appears that it's a similar kind of politics, with even leaders questioning whether Pulwama happened actually even taking place now. We all saw what happened in 2019. Are we seeing a repeat in 2024?
Madhav, I want to make two short points. Number one, the MEA has denied that India was engaged in political assassinations in Pakistan. I'm glad it has. And I hope the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, getting carried away with his usual rhetoric come election time, You remember in 2019, he actually asked for votes on the Pulwama terror attack. He actually had Wing Commander Abhinandan's pictures all over his dais, which was like a very blatant exhibition of, immorality in public life, where you take advantage of your defense forces and the brave soldiers to win votes. I mean, it can't be more cheap and vulgar than that. But anyway, let me answer your question. The truth is that if you read the Guardian report, Madhav, there's a lot to worry about, because you can hear some intelligence officers apparently being quoted who are saying that we should be very inspired by Saudi Arabia. I mean, is this great democratic country going to be inspired by a violent Islamic state that has sponsored terrorism, where apparently an intelligence officer is saying that, Jamal Khashoggi's murder in Istanbul in the Saudi embassy should be an inspiring example to Indian intelligence? I mean, I'll be appalled if the Indian government says this is okay, because you're already facing the heat on what the Canadian Prime Minister said, by the way, followed up by the US State Department, where India is now cooperating in an investigation. So let's be very clear here. Yes, every government must look after its territorial integrity. Every political party in power has to ensure that India's sovereignty is maintained. But we are not a banana republic. And just because there is an election to make these ghar mein ghuske marunga speeches, these things have a very limited shelf life.
You made some pertinent points, but I just want to add that this report has been written speaking not just to Pakistan intelligence sources, but to Indian intelligence sources also. There are certain facts that have also been questioned during the course of the last 24 hours. And before I go across to Tom Vadakan, I want Sushant Sareen to respond to that. Sushant Sareen, you've heard Sanjay Jha. He says that there is a lot of concern, a lot of alarm that would be raised if the contents, or some of the contents at least, are true. Is it a fact that India as a country is being inspired by Saudi Arabia and the Jamal Khashoggi episode? That's a question that he's raising. How would you respond to him, Sushant?
Frankly, I don't take Sanjay Jha seriously or his concerns very seriously, for a very simple reason. Number one, any Indian intelligence officer, I don't know what level or what former officer this lady met or claims to have met, because very often these people manufacture these kind of stories. But let us assume she met somebody. I can assure you of one thing. I have known a number of intelligence officers over the decades, and I can tell you the guys who actually know about operations or about sensitive matters never open their mouth even after retirement. And the guys who don't know a damn thing will also always behave like James Bond, number one. Number two, in the Indian intelligence services, there are very clear silos in which people operate, even when they are in service. So if there's somebody dealing with a particular area or a particular vertical, unless he is given permission, he is not brought into the loop of another vertical or another, area of operation. He's completely kept out of the loop. That's the second part of it. The third part of it is that, no Indian intelligence officer would be dumb enough. They could certainly say that, yes, we would be inspired by what the Americans have done, because the Americans have carried out such operations and is very rich of them, or for that matter, the Canadians, because his Papa Trudeau was carrying out these kind of operations in the 70s against the Quebec separatists in France, wasn't he? So it's very rich for the Canadians or the Brits or any of these white people to point fingers at us, but they have been carrying out such operations. But aside of that, the fact of the matter remains that because somebody makes a bombastic statement, whether it's for political purposes or it's a statement of intention. For example, Madhav, I have been hearing this, that look, we need to take the war into Pakistan. We need to go and attack them where it hurts them. We need to take out terrorists. I've been hearing it for the last 30 years. I'm still hearing it. Is there any evidence that actually there have been these kind of operations which have been carried out by Indian intelligence sources or Indian intelligence assets? Mm-hmm. And in fact, if there is even a kernel of truth in this particular report, incidentally, I would certainly be inspired by how the Israelis carry out their operations. I would certainly be inspired by how the Americans or the Russians carry out their operations. but certainly not by how the Saudis did it, because that is a botched operation. But if there is even a kernel of truth in how the Indians used certain ISIS guys to infiltrate into ISIS and Badr 313 or whatever other terror organization, convince them to carry out operations against other jihadists by portraying them as kafirs or by portraying them as apostates or whatever else, then, you know, the world's #1 agency is the RAW.
Okay.
But frankly, I'm not so sure that, probably a lot of it is fiction. Much as we would like to believe it is true, I find it difficult to believe. I've not seen any evidence.
There's no way to find out for sure. Perhaps in coming days, we'll see the Guardian perhaps come out in response to what the Indian government has said. But Sanjay Jha, because Sushant mentioned you and he has answered the question that you specifically asked, quick response, please.
Madhav, let's be very clear. India is respected all over the world. We are yet some form of democracy. We have a part of the G20. There are international laws, by the way, and extrajudicial or extraterritorial killings is never, part for the course in international diplomacy. The truth remains that we will actually become a pariah if anybody endorses this. I don't take the gentleman who spoke before me seriously whatsoever, because, these are people who come in the position of being dispassionate, but we all know they belong to the right-wing ecosystem. The truth is that political parties take advantage of news which makes them look muscular and, machismo in terms of, being the true nationalist. I think we are embarrassing ourselves if these conversations are at all having any grain of truth.
Okay. I want the political parties now to come in on this. Tom Vadakan, I saw your hand, Ishkaran, just a minute. I want Tom Vadakan to come in on the point.
I have a very quick response.
Okay, very quickly, please. Very quickly.
Yeah, so the gentleman who spoke before me, who's from a left-wing, ultra-leftist kind of a background, and I think people need to be ashamed of that. But the fact of the matter remains, international law applies equally to all countries, not just to India. It applies to every single country. It applies to the British. It applies to countries who actually harbor terrorists and give safe havens to terrorists. It does not apply only to India, number one. Number two, there is... everybody loves this image of an India which always turns the other cheek. Everybody loves an image of India which is ready to, roll with the blows. Everybody hates an India which is ready to give a blow for a blow.
Okay, is that indeed the truth? Dr. Dinesh Vashni, is that indeed the truth? We have a particular image of India and that, perhaps even suits the West, which perhaps we've seen, as far as what happened in the killing of Osama, for instance, there were perhaps clear violations. But when it comes to India, there is a certain expectation that Indians will be docile, will take whatever they have to by turning the other cheek. Dr. Dinesh Vashni.
Look, Madhav, I will answer your question later. Let me say one thing. What Guardian has written and what Modi ji has stated, Ghar mein ghuske marte hain ya marenge. What is the meaning? Is he accepting the Guardian theory or Guardian report?
What he is talking in the context of the surgical strikes is what we understand. Yes.
Going against the MEA statement.
The MEA has formally denied it.
No. What it leads to, denied it. So. Even he said at the time of the Israeli attack on Gaza, he supported Israel, and after 3 days, the MEA contradicted his statement. In the Hindi belt, they are called Badbolapan. Our Prime Minister is a Badbola. It is a problem. He do not understand what is the meaning of the foreign policy. The foreign policies have certain constraints also. We had been a Home Minister of the Government of India. Comrade Indrajit Gupta was the Home Minister. Many of the facts we know, but we don't reveal because we are not supposed to. Every one of us belonging to the opposition parties also believe in national integrity, territorial integrity, safety of the nation, everything. What nonsense the Modi ji is talking is, he is only talking of Barbolapan, nothing more than that.
Okay.
I condemn that. Now I come to your question.
Yeah.
Look, as a matter of principle, we are against the extrajudicial killings by any nation, whether it is America or anybody else. If you have killed Obama should have been...
Osama.
Should have been brought...
Obama was their president. They would not kill him, for heaven's sake.
Osama, yes, sorry. I am very sorry. I beg your pardon. I beg the pardon of everybody in the world. it is Osama bin Laden. Yes, it's clear now. So this is a problem. We have to deal it. I agree with Mr. Sanjay Jha. Look, this is not a thing to look into that perspective. Who is there? Who is who? Mr. Sareen is talking as if he knows everything of the intelligence agencies.
Okay. If he has covered intelligence all his life, sir, he knows a thing or two. But let me come into the political point that you're making. This is not, I want Tom to come in now. Tom, this is A. This has been contradicted by MA.
Madam, only one point.
Quickly, sir, quickly make your point, please. Quickly now. Yeah.
Point. Every country have their assets in each other nation. Those assets must be protected by all means. So this is a diplomacy. This is the foreign policy, part of the foreign policy. What
What's the point?
Sareen is saying is absolutely nonsense.
Okay. Let me bring in Tom now. Tom, there's 2-3 important questions that you must answer. A, the timing of this happening ahead of polls. B, whether what the Prime Minister is saying is in direct contradiction of what the Ministry of External Affairs is saying. Both those points I want you to respond to. Tom Marakan.
What the Prime Minister has said is being taken out of context. He is referring to Pulwama and the reaction from the Karnataka political party. Now, as to the question of this entire debate, this lady, this correspondent of Guardian, was earlier a correspondent for art and culture. So after she entered into this area of reporting, it's purely a cut and paste story planted by certain vested interests, either from Pakistan or from the Western lobby. And the timing of this whole exercise is aimed at the elections. This is a bid to create an impression that we are proactive on international land, and there's been killings. Now let me tell you something. This has been happening from 2019, and it has been established beyond doubt that 2-3 killings that they have talked about, one person is in Indian prison, he's healthy and comfortable, and then they said about the Canadian gentleman that he has been killed, then later said it was an attempt to kill.
Okay.
So let them be very clear what was the timeline and how. Now, the third issue here is Pakistan is eliminating its own terrorists to wipe out evidence of their activities. This is an ISI game plan. This is also a hit job for election time. And the most important thing is Pakistan is playing the victim card because its economy is grim and it's going around with a begging ball across the globe.
Okay, Mohammad
This
Tariq
is
Khan.
the ground reality that is happening.
Mohammad Tariq Khan. Yeah. I want Mohammad Tariq Khan to respond to that the timing of this is to defame India by pushing a Pakistan agenda. That's what the BJP spokesperson is saying. Please respond to him, Mohammad Tariq Khan.
Listen, without talking about Pakistan, they're not going to gain anything. Means whenever there is an election, BJP start making name of Pakistan and do want to take the political mileage on those things. But let me remind, घर में घुस के मारेंगे मगर पहले घर में देखिए कौन है साई प्रसाद a BJP worker arrested Sai Prasad. His name is Sai Prasad. NIA arrested him in the charge of Rameshwaran cafe blast.
Sir, that has been denied by NIA. Where are you, sir? NIA has formally denied that. They've said this is false news.
Okay.
Are you not aware of what the NIA statement is?
Let me take another name. Sanjay Saroj from Pratapgarh. He is accused in terror funding, joined by the BJP MP in Pratapgarh, and his full name is flourished by the BJP that he'll join the party and will work for the party and join hands with the BJP. So, I'm saying that Sai Prasad allegation is being denied by the NIA. What you will say about this Sanjay Saroj in Pratapgarh? So, what I want to say, and leave everybody, leave Sanjay Saroj, Sai Prasad. Subramaniam Swamy, you are saying that Ghar mein ghuske marenge. Subramaniam Swamy 1,000 times said that 42,000 kilometers China has entered in Indian territory. Now, what is the response on those? He's not our MP. He's not from our side. He's from your side. You have made him our Lok Sabha MP, and 1,000 times, not one time. He said 1,000 times in the parliament, you should respond. Prime Minister should respond. What is the exact situation over there?
Ishkaran, I'd like Ishkaran to respond to that. Ishkaran, would you like to respond to that? He says that one is an allegation. I'm not fully aware of that particular case, but he refers to China. He says, where is the ghar mein ghuske marenge policy when it comes to China? Please respond to him.
Madhav, I was patiently waiting. I hope nobody will interrupt me also. There is a lobby and a global lobby with its kids in India which believe every terrorist who attacks India should be protected. If it happens through a judicial process, a Yaqub Menon, an Afzal Guru, they say they hand Afzal Guru and they take out a candlelight march and call it a judicial killing. If a Burhan Wani gets killed in an encounter, they say poor school teacher's kid. So when it happens by a judicial process, these people have a problem. When, as per this article, that it has happened outside India. So let me first read since only 2004, terror attacks in India, because we always talk about the terrorist, but not the people these terrorists kill. First, 29th October 2005, Delhi bombings, 70 killed, 250 injured. 2006, Varanasi bombing, 28 killed, 100 injured. 2006, Mumbai train bombings, 7 bombings across Mumbai, coordinated, 209 killed, 714 injured. 2008, Ahmedabad bombings, 17 serial bombings, 56 killed, 200 injured. Jaipur bombings, multiple across the city, 60 killed, 100 injured. Delhi again, 2008 bombings, 33 killed, 130 injured. 2008, Mumbai attack, 171 killed, 300 injured. Again 2011, July, Mumbai bombings, 26 killed, 130 injured. And I am not covering all the terror attacks because there is a time constraint. I am on TV. Hundreds of people killed in just a 10-year period. Forgetting 1993 bomb blast. So many blasts, so many families destroyed. And what are we supposed to do? Garland these terrorists? Give them rewards. If this operation is true, I don't know it's true or not. But if it is true, Uri surgical strike is a glorious moment. Every self-respecting nation protects itself. They terrorize people in India. These terrorists, no matter whichever part of the world they live in, they should feel the terror. Prevention is better than cure. You cannot keep arresting these people and they use people in India giving them small amount of money, or they give them trips outside, or this ecosystem which defends it. What will you do with a terrorist if not kill him? And when it talks about international law, let me tell you, firstly, international law is the weakest form of law. Certain people say it does not exist. US has gone to war to kill the terrorists it feels are hiding. It has launched missiles in Afghanistan. It has gone to Pakistan with special operations. It has gone all over the world wherever it believes a terrorist hides who is affecting American interests. Every self-respecting nation should do the same against terrorists. The Uri philosophy of surgical strike, the Balakot philosophy of attacking Pakistan proper, sending a message you are not safe there, or these unknown men, MEA has denied. But if it is true, I feel it's a glorious moment in Indian history where terrorists, no matter wherever they hide, they will be hunted, they will feel terror, and they will be killed.
Mohammad Tariq Khan, respond to that. Any self-respecting nation has a right to defend itself, and India, if this report is true, Ishkaran feels has done the correct thing.
No. There is no problem if India is in our defense. We are doing anything. So nobody is raising question on that. Not a single party is raising question on that. But question.
Sanjay Jha just did. He said it's a violation of several international laws. Yeah.
No, nobody is ready to respond on the issue of China. Why? घर में घुस के मारेंगे. Now you're not घुसेंगे घर. अब अपने ही घर पे घुस गए. Nobody is responding on this Sanjay Saroj. Terror funding में नाम है इसका. सर, terror funding में लश्कर-ए-तैयबा के साथ नाम आया. NIA ने गिरफ्तार किया. He was in jail for 6 to 7 years. 2018 में इसको गिरफ्तार किया और 3-4 साल के लिए ये जेल में था. Now he's out joining BJP. This is what? अब घर में चोर आ रहे हैं तो कोई बात नहीं है. घर में टेररिस्ट को रख लो तो कोई बात नहीं है. और पाकिस्तान के इस तरफ से जब वोट लेना होगा यहाँ पर, तो पुलवामा और पाकिस्तान का नाम
सुशांत
फिर चाइना में घर में घुस के नहीं मारोगे क्या आप?
Sushant Singh.
चाइना में घुसो ना.
Okay, Sushant Singh, please respond to that. Yeah.
Madhav, 3 points I just wanted to make. One is on whatever name this gentleman is taking from Samajwadi Party. I think it's rich coming from him, talking about some criminal, I don't even know whom he's talking about, who's been in jail for 3 or 4 years. When his own party chief goes to the house of a person who had been convicted in multiple crimes, has been in jail for over 20 years, he goes and commiserates out there. And a person who has also been alleged to be involved with ISI and other people, I'm talking about Mukhtar Ansari, when they go and commiserate out there, they feel no shame. That time it's all very kosher. It's all above board. Number 2, I agree with Sanjay Jha. It's not just a violation of international law. Whatever international law might be, I think it's a work of fiction, as Ishkaran is suggesting. It's a violation of Indian laws. Because Indian laws, unlike American laws, which actually allow and give permission to the Americans to actually go out and carry out killings outside America, Indian law does not permit any kind of extrajudicial killing. So technically it is a violation of Indian law. So I don't think a government in India would be violating Indian law directly or indirectly. That's the second point I wanted to make. And the third point I wanted to make is on this whole China thing. I wish the gentleman from SP would actually bring out a map and tell us which are the areas which have been taken over by China in the recent years, number 1. Number 2, whether those were the areas which were taken way back in the 50s and 60s and in subsequent years, or are those areas which have been taken over after 2014? And certainly, if you come out with the facts and the data, nobody will be happier than me to talk about it and excoriate the government on this issue. But the point is that just throwing away random figures, when you have you ever been to Eastern Ladakh, Mr. Khan, or whatever your name is? Have you ever been to Arunachal? Have you ever been to any of those areas, or are you just regurgitating what a certain Mr. Subramanian Swamy might have said?
Let me respond. First and foremost, these are not my allegations. These are Subramanian Swamy's allegations.
But you are endorsing these allegations, sir.
That flipping. Okay,
sir, you are endorsing these allegations, na? Obviously, you accept these allegations. That is why you are talking them about.
I'm using the name of Subramanian Swamy. It's not my allegation. It's your MP's allegation. It's not my allegation.
He's not my MP. He's not even an MP anymore.
I'm requesting to throw out of the party Subramanian Swamy right now, right away. Point number 1. Point number 2. You said that somebody has gone to or said something about Mukhtar Ansari. You don't know the politics of Uttar Pradesh. There was a name, Harishankar Tiwari, the great mafia, one of the biggest.
Have you seen me defend Harishankar Tiwari?
When he died,
who's defending any such people, sir?
Next day,
have you seen anybody out here defend him?
Listen to me. Next day, Dinesh Sharma, the deputy CM, reached out his name and presented the condolence. What you will say about that? Suspend.
No, I will condemn that as much as I condemn what you people did.
Why are you using these things? That somebody has gone to Mukhtar Ansari.
You are the one who started this.
I have just seen Dinesh Sharma, who has gone to Harishankar Tiwari's house. Next day when Harishankar Tiwari
I think we've veered way off the topic. The topic is terror and India's action on terror. And as far as India's national security is concerned, I want to ask Sanjay Jha a very simple question. Sanjay Jha, you would have seen the Congress manifesto. I know you're no longer with the Congress, being a suspended congressman. But the simple question in the manifesto is that when they say that they're implacably opposed to terror and anywhere in the world they will work with other countries to end terror, and even engagement with Pakistan will depend on how willing Pakistan is to or their willingness to end terror within their territories. Does the Congress party still believe that Pakistan is serious about ending terror after all that we've seen in the last 2 decades? Sanjay Jha?
Well, I want to make 2 points very quickly.
So please answer my question. I've asked you a very specific question. Please answer that.
Madhav, just hear me out. Hear me out very quickly. And these are important points. Therefore,
yeah, but please answer my question.
One of the reasons why there is a problem is because I think in our domestic policy, politics has really seeped in all over the place. When the farmers were protesting, the BJP-led government was very happy to call them terrorists and Khalistanis and separatists. You know what happened in Kolkata the other day, right? An IPS officer who was a Sikh was called a Khalistani. See, when you do this kind of positioning, you are actually sending out an awful message to the diaspora, where there are a lot of people who are Sikhs who are doing very well. And you're painting everyone out to be some kind of an anti-national. This is not the way you need to handle either your domestic politics or your foreign policy.
Who's justifying that,
foreign
sir?
agencies
Who's justifying a police officer being called a Khalistani? Have you seen anyone doing that here?
I'm saying you got to understand the ideological mindset of the government in power. My second point is actually concerned with what you mentioned. I believe if you go back to Atal Bihari Vajpayee, definitely considered more respected, more trusted, and more genuinely admired than Narendra Modi can ever hope to be in his entire lifetime, who tried very hard with his insaniyat, jamhuriyat, the whole statement of reconciliation, of democracy, of inclusiveness, of humanity. And I think this is exactly the principle on which the Congress and the BJP were won. Under Mr. Modi, you have found a policy where I think at the end of the day, foreign policy has become an instrument for domestic politics alone. I can understand it seeps through, but to make foreign policy as nothing but an instrument for exploiting your vote bank in India, I think mocks the great country that
But the question still remains, sir. The question still remains about whether Pakistan is serious, whether after 2008, after Gurdaspur, all that we've seen over the past several years, whether 2611, etc., end of the day, whether India has not learnt its lesson. I want Ishkaran to quickly respond to you on that. Ishkaran.
Madhav, there is a fundamental change where this entire ecosystem used to believe talks must go at all times, even if terrorism is happening. It is only under this dispensation a new thing has come in. No talks till terrorism happens. Manish Shankar Iyer recently used to go to Pakistan and say, "Inhe hataiye, hame laiye." These people will be tough on Pakistan. That's point number one. The point number two, as I started by saying, is they want to defend terrorists. Their reason, whether it is a judicial pronouncement gone through the Supreme Court, or it is a governmental action, or it is unknown men, or it is a gang war happening in Pakistan. Point is, terrorists cannot have any mercy. Terrorists have to be hunted because we deserve to stay safe. And last line, when they say foreign policy is seeping into India, it is seeping. Presidential campaigns in US, the first question is, if 4 a.m. the phone rings, whom do you want to answer the phone? Who is your commander-in-chief? Any nation which reaches the status of becoming a top 5 economy, top 3 economy, has a global presence, foreign policy will become a vital part of your domestic policy because you are playing at the big table now, which is a fundamental difference where Congress seems to not grasp this basic point.
All right. We'll have to leave it there completely. Tom Vadakar and Ishkaran Bhandari will continue with us for debate number 2. I'd like to thank Sushant Sareen as well as Sanjay Jha, Dr. Dinesh Vashni and Mohammad Tariq Khan for joining us on the show.